Hello everyone. Hi guys, I am here. Oh, I'm trying to sit down. I am here. Oh, I'm Rebecca from KnitPicks, and I'm here with my first Nitpicks order of 2018. Now, unfortunately, this was not an order placed by want, but out of necessity. You see, I made a mistake and left my ball winder that I'd been using for years in my living room. Hi! In my living room, and my 2-year-old kind of threw it on the ground, so the handle snapped off. Now, I did use super glue, and I repaired it, and so it is working. But, you know, there's a lot of like pressure and torque and stuff going on this handle, so I am expecting it to break again at some point. And it would be a real shame if I can't make some easy balls of yarn, especially as I am prepping for Sock Blank Special 2, our dye-along. So anyway, I have, I think this package is going to have the replacement. So we'll see how it compares, the new ball winder compares to the old one. I think that the reason why I was able to repair it with the super glue is that the break was not like flat across. It was kind of like there was a little notch. So I was able to put it like, there was something else to kind of hold it in versus just like a clean break. But at first I thought it wasn't going to wind again. Well, see, Gorilla Glue, at least the stuff I've used, it kind of like foams out a bit. And so it almost wouldn't turn again because it almost glued itself to the sides as I was fixing it. But anyway, it's working. So, but now at least, in theory, I will have a backup one, or, maybe I'll continue to use this one until it breaks for good and then salvage some of the parts. I sort of broke it a little bit when I was trying to take off the bottom to see what the inside parts look like. And so the handle, at least on this one, it was one piece of plastic all the way through to the gears. Yeah, so this doesn't do that much more than 100 grams. I've pushed it a bit, but it starts to get, not have as, I think that you could probably like take the yarn out of the feeder and sort of like manually hold it to try to make it a little bigger, but it really only does about 100 grams pretty well. But anyway, it was just one solid piece of plastic all the way in. So, I mean, it's working, so that's good, but let's see what's in the box. But, and of course, so I've been a little bit of a Nitpicks lover for years, like almost as long since Chemknits began is when I started buying yarn from Nitpicks. And but in the US there's free shipping if you spend $50. So I can't not spend $50. So even though I was just getting a ball winder, which I'll add a link into the comments or into the description of the ball winder in the end. Actually, 2 days after I ordered it, it went on sale. So normally the ball winders are $19.99 and it changed and then it went down $5. So, ooh, since I'm going from the bottom up, aw, it's a little like Santa unicorn saying thank you. Wow. Okay, so this is like a very Christmassy one. It's like it has a Christmas wish list on the back. But I ordered this in January. So, maybe the packers are trying to use up some old ones. It makes a lot of squeaky sounds. I think for me, I get more squeaks out of my Swift than the ball winder. So we've got our packing slip. Oh, is that all I got? All right, this will go pretty quickly. But the first thing I got, which you can kind of see, I got a new book. So Nitpicks is having their book sale right now, and I think it ends probably tomorrow at midnight. But all of their books are 40% off. There's not a coupon, it's just the list price is 40% off all of the books. And I couldn't resist getting this book that's designed for knitters and spinners, and so trying to like design the yarns that I want, and it also talks about color. So I have a really good, I do have another spinning in color book, but I just wanted some other inspiration. And, oh cool, it just popped up. There's some like instructions for Andean plying, which I've never tried before. Secret to plying to match. That sounds interesting. But yeah, that talks about fractal spinning. I'm really excited to see. Oh, fun. It's going to, yeah. I'm really interested in kind of taking my color and spinning to another level. So having, and I don't mind looking online for resources, which, you know, as someone who provides resources online should be fine. But I also sometimes enjoy having physical books because I think that it's just sort of handy to flip through and get inspired. Ooh. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to have a new book. Some of the other spinning books that I have are really, really great for like different types of yarn that you can spin. But color, in addition to other techniques, like this is when I've been spinning for what, 5-6 years or so, but I'm still pretty much self-taught and it's pretty new to me. And so having like a book, it's for something to flip through and then gives me a starting point of knowing, oh, I should look more into that versus not even knowing what to search for. So that's a reason why when I'm picking up a new hobby or a new technique, I like to first go to books. But something else that I used to do a lot was I would request a bunch of knitting and technique books from my local library. And since I could request the books online, they would get them through interlibrary loan and then let me know when they were available so then I could go pick them up versus trying to find the book I needed in the library itself. And so, yeah, I did a lot of that over the years, but this is like a nice thick book and it almost feels like a brand new textbook. I'm like, going back to school, you need books. Yeah, I have a few of the Vogue knitting books that I really like. When I did Vogue Knitting Live one year, I ended up with the package for the classes I wanted to do. I ended up with also getting a $200 credit to the Vogue Knitting website. So I got a bunch of books, a bunch of like knitting Stittionaries and stuff to use for design inspiration. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of, sometimes I will buy books for patterns as well, but I'm a much bigger fan of collecting books that are more resource oriented or like a design book that has tips for, you know, different decreases in shapes and things that can really like help going on. Wait, the latest knitting book. I love Susan B. Anderson. I took a class with her at Vogue Knitting Live one year and she is so nice. It was really fun to do that class. So Vogue Knitting Live goes to New York, so it doesn't come to Boston. And right now with young kids, it's a little hard for me to get away for, you know, a couple days for a retreat, not to mention hotel costs and everything. So when I lived outside of Chicago, I could go, you know, and spend 3 days going to the conference and it wasn't as big a deal, but maybe someday I'll be able to work it out again. Hi guys, I'm so glad you guys are able to join. All right, so what else is in this box? I had to get some yarn. When my Nitpicks winder was squeaky, you locate the noise at the end of the handle. Sewing machine oil. Yeah, using some oil would probably help. I only took the class with Susan B. Anderson. It was a knitting a doll workshop from one of her patterns. And I wasn't necessarily that excited about the class because I was really trying to fill up my schedule with more design-based classes. But, you know, I knew I'd knit some of her designs before and I was like, oh, you know, it'll be fun. But it was just like relaxed and just fun to get to chat with her and have her tell us about some of her design process. And she then also had a lecture later in the day, so that was really fun. Yeah. All right, but I did pick up some yarn, which is silly because at the end of 2017 I ordered. Amazon's telling me that all my stuff's coming. At the end of 2017, I ordered a lot of bare yarn that I still need to work through, but I had to pick up some more Wool of the Andes Superwash. I've got on Valentine's Day a really fun dyeing video that has superwash, untreated Wool of the Andes worsted weight yarn and straw all in one video, side by side, and it is really, really, really fun. Sorry, I saw, use a tiny amount of olive oil on my wooden Swift when it was squeaking. Oh, that's not a bad idea. I mean, I have some oil that came with my spinning wheel that I've used sometimes on that maybe would help with the Swift. It ultimately doesn't bother me that much, but yeah, actually on Valentine's Day, there's 2 videos coming out, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And there's 2 because when I started doing the first one, I was like, I don't know how well this is gonna work. I mean, I think this might be underwhelming. Let's do something that I'm pretty sure will work cool, and so then I can have both. So then you get 2 bonus holiday videos. Oh yeah. I had to do a small order as well. Yeah, no, there's so many fun videos coming out. And I think I'm gonna do a live stream some evening this week to talk more about the sock blank special and the dye-along. But briefly, we're gonna do a week-long sock blank special with a bunch of pre-filmed videos and a lot of live streams, at least 4, maybe 5 dyeing live streams at all different times of day, so that way as many people as possible can come and join me live. But starting the week of February 26th. I'm not sure if I'm going to kick things off on the Sunday night or Monday night yet, but it's going to be like, get stuff to, and that's why I'm releasing videos on making your own sock blanks, and versus, you can buy the sock blanks from Nitpicks, and if you use my affiliate link, then I get some credit for the sale, and that's awesome. But I know that, spending $20 on a blank is a lot more expensive. So I plan in the sock blank special week to do a mixture of homemade blanks, single-stranded, double-stranded, worsted, sock, different fibers, contents, in addition to the commercial blanks, so you can see a little bit of everything. And if you don't want to drop the money for a commercial blank, then you can still have fun and join this in. Oh, and I made some crochet blanks too. I'm really excited to dye those. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing, depending on the kids' health, I'm not sure how many of the Jacquard acid dyes will make it into live streams. It depends on if they're able to be at school, then I will probably be using the acid dyes. But I am pre-filming some episodes with acid dyes for the sock blank special week when I know that I have time to get everything cleaned up and put away before the kids get home. But anyway, 2 skeins of Wool of the Andes Superwash. I haven't yet bit the bullet to decide to buy a 20-pack of this. Yeah, I have to decide what yarn bases I want to push and buy in bulk. You're a self-taught knitter. Yeah, yay for starting to dye yarn. And yes, I'm glad to give you guys something to look forward on Valentine's Day. I think my theme was we all love yarn, right? So let's do a love yarn episode. Yeah, I get corny. This was one of the ones when I commented lately that filming Rebecca gets really goofy and corny, and then editing Rebecca is oh man, that is hokey. Woo! But oh well, I leave it in. I usually don't go back and refilm anything because I can't. The yarn's already dyed. All right, so I got the 2 skeins of yarn, and then here is our ball winder. What does it say? Life just got easier. That is a cute tagline. I got my other one so many years ago that I don't even remember what the box for it was like. Okay, so let's see. This says, visit us at nitpicks.com, a crafty goldmine of yarn, books, patterns, and other sundry delights, all sold direct to you at truly accessible prices. Happy crafting. Nitpicks. I wonder if these ball winders are something that they sell more wholesale in many different, thank you. I don't plan on changing. Yeah, so I wonder if they sell these wholesale or something, but and it has on the box, which actually, if you're going to be storing it in the box, having all the instructions on the box versus in a pamphlet is kind of handy. Seeing if it says, so I've done all size yarns on my ball winder. I've done, so on the old one, I've done you know, from lace to like super bulky without problems. Like a lot of stuff can just fit through the arm, whatever this piece is called. All right, well, let's see. So far, it's looking very, very similar. Yeah, I think that it's pretty much identical to the old one. Oh, you know what might not be identical? It is not 100% identical to the old one. Okay, so the old one, okay, so you see at the base, and both bases are set up for it. See how there's this like whole little squiggle bit there? My old ball winder actually comes with a handle that I don't keep down here because I don't really need it. But yeah, so it doesn't, this piece doesn't fit in there. But my old one comes with a handle, so in theory you wouldn't need to clamp it to something. You could hold it as you wound the yarn. But I didn't like doing that, so I never really used it. So I think not having that handle is not really a loss. So maybe that's why they didn't change the molds for the ball winder, but just stopped including that piece. But we do have the nice piece that the yarn goes on, and that comes off, which is handy for storing it, I guess, even though I always leave mine on. You just kind of slip it in. That was not a, huh. That sound took me by surprise. But then, whee. So funny, it doesn't feel too different from my glued back together one. But I will say, there isn't really anything about this. Oh, there is a difference. Okay, you see how I have this little sticker peeling off that says turn in this direction? They now have that printed onto the ball winder. This is clearly a very important change. But I mean, I have left the sticker on, even though it's like peeling off. So, I mean, it is useful that they have that on for like the turn handle direction. But even this clamp piece looks, yeah, even the same colors is pretty identical to the old one. So when the old one breaks for good, I do plan to save a bunch of these parts that come off just in case, you know, something breaks. But I am unscrewing. So the way this is held on is that there's a hole in this metal rod, which then we can insert into, oh, I'm glad you enjoy this. Insert into here and screw in and tighten so that way this stays on. But it's removable because it's funny, it still has the like fasten, and I'm curious. Mount your ball on a counter or table with the clamp. So it says, this is cute. If you don't have a Swift, find a partner to hold your yarn between their outstretched arms. So that's cute. Yeah, Keith bought me a yarn Swift, I think pretty much because it's funny, I had it on my like wish list for many years. And then I think Keith finally bought me one because I think he was sick of holding the yarn for me. But yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to test it out right now because it seems, there is another change. Okay. This is interesting. I wonder if, okay, so the diameter of the center portion is about the same as my old one, but it is taller, which maybe will help prevent yarn flying off. It also seems to be a little less tapered. Interesting. The color, and this could just be from age, is also actually, the color of the plastic is slightly lighter on my old one than the new one. You have a metal Swift. Yeah, my Swift is all wood, which also has had some disastrous falls, but I've been able to like patch it back together when it's broken. So, yeah. Well, I'm excited. So ultimately, if you have a Nitpicks ball winder already and it's still in functional order, I see no reasons to get a new one. But if your kids decide that it's a football and break it, it looks like that you can salvage a bunch of pieces to then use on the new one. I'm just seeing if yeah, so I can use the center part from this old one on the new one. So that is all equivalent. But hey, now I have two, but I only have one Swift, so you can't exactly go twice as fast. And am I going to be able to fit this back in the box? If you twist the wrong way, you can't undo it. Who would have thought? Okay, with the bottom piece on, it doesn't really fit in the box very well, but yeah, it's just kind of in there for now. Yeah, and I think I'll keep using the old one just until it dies for good. I don't really need to. And some people shared, oh no, maybe it was in a Wellesley group, but some people shared like a really nice higher end, I guess, ball winder that looks like it's made out of like wood and metal versus plastic. And maybe I would consider upgrading, but honestly, like I wind a lot of yarn into center pull balls, and this has worked really well for years. And it did not break on the first drop. I have dropped it, and the kids have dropped it many times before. It's just, you know, whatever the angle was this time, maybe it landed like on the handle or something, and it snapped off. Which, it's the way it snapped off, it looked like it should be able to pop back in, but that didn't work. And so that was very sad. All right, in addition to this Nitpicks order, I have another package, which is from Greg's Spina Dental Supply. Now, I know what this is, which is why I'm opening it here. And, you know, I promise that, like, the reason that it's from a dental supply, you'd rather spend your money on yarn. Yeah. Thank you. Da-da-da-da! More gloves. So, it's funny. I buy these, you know, you can find, like, latex gloves or something at your, like, at Home Depot and stuff. There's no and sometimes even the supermarket, there's no reason why you need to buy online. Interesting. But the reason why I don't, so if you work in like a chemistry lab, like there's different things that you don't, there's certain solvents and stuff that you do not want to use latex gloves for because they can dissolve or solvents can go through them and they won't protect your hands. So there's some things that you use like nitrile gloves for. And actually people that with latex allergies and stuff also can use nitrile gloves. I don't, yeah, and you can get latex gloves at the drugstore. I use these nitrile gloves for two reasons. One, the nostalgia factor. I don't really mind the way they feel on my hands. This is a brand that I used for years when I was in the lab. And the other reason is that they're purple and I like them. So I managed the stock room for my group when I was in grad school, and which meant that, and when I first took over, you know, I went through, I like talked to suppliers to see what I could get better prices for. I switched some of the tips we were buying, tried a bunch of gloves, figured out what people liked. And so that was fun. And so then this, and I don't think that this is was the brand necessarily of the ones, even though it looks close, but yeah, I mean, I'm not super worried, but yeah, anyway, these are the general kind of gloves that I like to use for me. And the main reason with all this dyeing that I use gloves is just to keep my hands like the peach, you know, very pale color that they are, so that way I don't turn blue and green and black and stuff. Although, I mean, I think food coloring does break a bit when it's on your skin, but I prefer to not look like I've been caught red-handed when I go about my day after a day of dyeing. And so I don't think that there's, you know, it's more for color and aesthetics versus like safety. You use tongs. Yeah, tongs and stuff can be really, really good tools and whatnot as well. I just know that my jars of Wilton's food coloring often will have some food coloring around the threads of the containers. And so sometimes even just opening them, I'll dye my fingers and be like, well, I'm trying to think of some commercial to quote and it's not coming to me. Like, you know, I don't know. But anyway, these are the gloves that I use. And you can see that sometimes I wear them and sometimes I don't bother. Yeah. Not all Nitrile gloves are purple. For a while we got some, I think they were like Kimberly Clark, and they were like, we tried them and they were like ultra thin, so it almost didn't feel like you were wearing gloves, because there were just some things that you would do in the lab that you would want to wear gloves to try to keep things either sterile or to protect you, but then there were some things when like you needed such a delicate touch that gloves made it a bit harder. So I use a pipette. I want a pipette. I want like all the pipettes. And I don't know why I'm whispering. I really, really want, I think I mostly want one of the electric pipettes. And just, you know, I would, so for pulling up, you know, 5 mils up to like 50 mils. And I mean, I could wash out the pipettes themselves versus, but yeah, if you've worked in a lab, you know, the ones that you always have to plug in, and yeah, I'd love one of those for measuring volumes. But really, a graduated cylinder would kind of work as well. But the thing with using the pipette is that, especially with like my 1 liter storage bottles, I could get the liquid from the bottom without pouring, so I'd make less of a mess. But I can't quite justify buying myself a pipette yet. And I can hardly be like, hey, you guys want to send me a sample of a pipette? No, that wouldn't work very well. Yeah, when Keith he worked in a physics lab, so he didn't use as much of the plastic consumables as we did, but he was able to get some free, on my recommendation, because when I was trying out new products, Corning sent me free samples of like everything they had. So we were able to test things out, but you know, the like couple of samples was enough that they needed for a long time. But it was like a lifetime ago when I was ordering science supplies. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit. It was fun doing the cost comparisons. But so I just didn't feel like, I was like, wait, should I just order these things because that's the way we've always done it? I mean, it just felt odd. But anyway, and then my box, because I didn't stuff the box this time, it also has some paper in it. So, I have the throwaway ones. They use through 2 times and the color stays a little. Yeah, I have some syringes that I use that like are ones that came from like kids medicine and stuff that actually I wash out, and I've been able to reuse those a long time. But I got a great 40 mil like turkey basting syringe from the dollar store. When I went back to try to get another one, they didn't have anymore. And so I'm kind of bummed because that was super handy for measuring measuring stuff, and that will make an appearance in some of the videos that are coming up. So tomorrow's episode of Dye Pot Weekly is pretty unique. It's something that is not a food coloring based project. Well, I mean, I will say it's not a typical project that you see on the channel, but I think is very interesting in the way that it worked. And then on Friday, you will get to see me start playing with some Jacquard acid dyes. Now, I'm not actually doing it's not a dyeing video that comes out on Friday, but it's I'm making stock solutions for the first time video. So then I'll say like, this is how I'm doing it. And it is like the first time I was making stock solutions of these dyes. So, you know, talking about like what I was struggling with. And of course, the one that like the color that turned to like jelly unless it was in warm water, like that one isn't in the video. That one I did later, and I was like, oh, it would have been useful to have been filming this one. But I will say that, you know, some of the dyes jacquard dyes stay in solution better than others. And, you know, even if it's been in suspension, they've all been working well for the dyeing itself. So that's good, right? Yeah, I am very, very excited. But anyway, oh, and so in addition to the fantastic book sale, which the affiliate link in the description right now is just to the Nitpicks website, but if you go to books, then you'll see all the books are still 40% off through tomorrow. So if there's something you've been wanting to add to your library, this is a really, really good chance. And let's see, the yarn on the month on sale, I think, is Kotlin, or no, maybe it's Lindy Chain. So it's a cellulose-based fiber yarn, which, you know, could still dye really cool, but you would need to use fiber reactive dyes or something. It won't work with these food coloring and acid dyes. So as someone said in the ChemKnits lab group on Facebook, it's a bit of a bummer for us home dyers. But pink and red yarns are on sale right now because of Valentine's Day, presumably. So you can pick up some yarns for over dyeing if you wanted to. And so that's, yeah, one of the recent Dye Pot Weekly episodes, I overdyed highlighter yellow yarn, and those results are actually really, really pretty. So even if you don't like, you know, a hot pink or something, if it's on sale, you can overdye it and get something really, really cool, even kind of shifting it in a completely different direction. So that was pretty fun. Yeah, and, you know, you can pick up some sock blanks too. I did, and I mean, I'll open this up probably, I don't know if I'll open up, I think it's gonna come tomorrow. There's another order coming tomorrow. And I did bite the bullet, and I bought, okay, well, you guys are joining me today, so it's kind of a spoiler, but if I do another unboxing, maybe you'll join me again, I don't know. I bought a 20 pack of sock blanks. Whew, that was one that, whew. Yeah, 20. But I was like, okay, if I'm gonna buy, like, you know, I've bought maybe 10 for the last sock blank special, and there were some, you know, 15, 20% off sales in December, so I bought some others. And then I was like, you know, I want to just get another couple, but if I'm going to buy another couple every couple months, I may as well buy 20 and get the 15% off bulk discount. And it was hard to bite that bullet, but I did, and so I have them, even though I'm still making a ton of homemade ones for the sock blank special too, the dye-along. I saw some questions. Is the new ball winder? Yes, the new ball winder is a Nitpicks ball winder, the same model as my old one, and is the only real difference seems to be that this part in the section seems to be a tiny bit taller. And oh, we do not get this here. Oh, you can't get Nitpicks. So I think Nitpicks ships to Canada with a minimum of $75 purchase for free shipping, and they ship to Australia. I'm not sure what the minimum is. So, and I don't know where else they ship. I'm so excited about the acid dye. Are you going to talk about proper safety precautions? Yes. So I have two kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And with acid dyes, the dyes actually say, the jacquard acid dyes say on the bottle that they are safe for children to use with supervision when they are in solution already. So once you have dissolved them in liquid, the concerns with the acid dyes, the biggest safety concern is that the powders are really, really fine. And so there's a danger of irritation if you were to inhale them. So I got from Dharma Trading, which is like a dyer's supply company. You can pick them up at Home Depot. I got just like a face dust mask. So that way, if any of the powders kind of went into the air, I wouldn't inhale them. The other precaution that I take when it comes to acid dyes is I have a whole separate set of equipment that I use. I have a separate pot. I have separate utensils, like I got new tongs. I even got new like spoons for checking things. And so I got, you know, I made sure to have like a whole separate set of equipment and utensils. So that way I'm not using the same utensils that I use for eating to use with these dyes, because they are, you know, these aren't food grade ingredients anymore. They're not improved, you know, you shouldn't eat them. And so therefore it's just sort of a nice precaution to to use other equipment. And in terms of like using, but I'm totally comfortable using my stove and using these dyes in my kitchen and with the stove. I'll cover my work surface with plastic wrap, you know, and wash it down thoroughly in between. And I will use my stove and again, like wash it after. The one thing I'm hesitant to do with acid dyes is to use my microwave, because I don't really have an easy way to clean the microwave thoroughly if like a big splatter or something happens in it. But that's like my personal comfort level versus like, you know, and other people might have other levels of comfort, and some people might not want to use their kitchens at all. However, I do want to just mention that these, you know, Jacquard and Dharma and other suppliers of these dyes, they all have, for techniques, recommended stovetop methods. And I think that, you know, if they're promoting something for home dyers to use, which these are marketed at home dyers in addition to like other types of dyers, I think that it would be hard for them to recommend this. Like if they're going to go out of their way and say, you know, get different utensils and pots for using for dyeing, if you shouldn't be using them in your kitchen or in your home, then I would believe that they would say that as well. But this is also just from my, you know, so some of the things that come from, like we had in lab, we had a dedicated like microwave that we used for, we had a dedicated like, you know, non-food microwave and non-food refrigerators. But the acid dyes, sometimes they recommend, you know, you could store stuff. Like I'm not storing anything in my refrigerator. I store them beneath a sink, but they recommend storing it there as well. Nope, I'm not trying to remove anything. So the greens with the highlighter yellow were amazing. What is a sock? Oh, you don't get Nitpicks. Yeah. So sock blanks, what sock blanks are, do I have one downstairs? Okay, you guys want a spoiler? I wasn't planning on getting a sneak peek, but I don't think I have any bare ones down here. So I think that the only thing I can do is a sneak peek. Ugh. All right. So this is a hand-dyed sock blank from Nitpicks. And actually, I think I have shared some pictures of this already on Instagram and stuff. So I did this with snow dyeing and Kool-Aid. So what a sock blank is, it's a pre-knit piece of fabric that you can dye. And so then, you know, you can dye it in an asymmetrical way or many different ways, and then you unravel it to knit or crochet or weave or whatever you want to do with yarn with it. And so it's, so you can buy commercial blanks like this one, which is Nitpicks sells, and it's 2 strands of Stroll fingering weight yarn together. So when you unravel it, you'll get 2 identical 50-gram skeins of yarn. So if you wanted to make socks or mittens or something like that, you could end up with identical socks. The other blank that I have here is a homemade blank that I made on my knitting machine. This is a worsted blank, single-stranded. And so when I unravel it, I will get sort of an asymmetric colorway because there aren't repeats of color and stuff. But so it'll be asymmetric and, you know, with long color repeats and stuff. So it'll be, you know, pretty unique in those respects. But you can also do some homemade double-stranded blanks. But with the Singer knitting machine that I used for this, I only recommend using fingering weight or smaller to make a double-stranded blank on that machine. And so the dye-along sock blank special will feature a bunch of homemade blanks like this and, you know, some commercial blanks like this. And this obviously will be part of a pre-filmed episode. But let me see what comments came up. Canadian Amazon doesn't have nearly as much. Yeah, I know the UK Amazon doesn't have everything either. Does it make a full sock? So it depends. Yes. So this sock blank right here is 100 grams of yarn. And so a 50-gram ball of yarn is more than enough for a full sock. Depending on how high you want to make it and the pattern that you use, of course. So you can, but you would, basically it's like you dye the fabric and then you unravel it and then you can make whatever you wanted. So if you're not a sock knitter, like I don't make socks very often, but I like to make scarves and shawlettes and stuff. And so one thing I might do with this is use the 2 different 50 grams balls of yarn and start at one end, knitting at one end with one, and then the other end I can make something symmetrical that would be really, really pretty. And there's some fun patterns that would lend itself nicely to this. So you could have like the rainbow kind of go out either way. And so it's just a fun technique. And you know that I like making asymmetric colorways and stuff. So sock blanks are good for that. I like, you can dip dye a whole sock blank so that way you can get a really, really long gradient of color. You could hand paint random designs, stripes, all kinds of things. So in the Sock Blank Special 2, each of the live streams will also feature sort of a different, the dialogue, I'll have like a different theme, and I'll release the schedule closer to the, maybe in a couple weeks. I'm still working out the materials and like what I want to do in each one, but I plan to do maybe some stenciling, some stamping. I don't really have a good stamp, but I'm going to try to use like a cookie cutter to kind of do something quasi stamping like. I'm going to do a stripes one. I forget what my other themes were that I've been working on to like kind of like cluster things together. Checking on questions. Will you do a video on how to make a crochet sock blank? I could. Right now on Instagram, I've just shared the hook size and things that I used. I basically just made a double crochet rectangle. I think I did a worsted weight one with holding 2 strands of worsted weight yarn together at a time. And I think I chained 42 stitches. And so then I would then double crochet like 42 stitches back and forth and back and forth and back and forth until I ran out of yarn. And then with a bulky weight yarn, I think I did 35 stitches or so back and forth. Potato printing would be fun. I'm not ready to have Lucas in a live stream though. I don't know what he would tell you guys or how he would behave. Wait, comments come back. When you unravel it, does it not stretch the wool? Not really. I mean, I think that when I unravel it, I do it pretty loosely on a nitty knotty, and then I tend to wet it after so that way the crimps will relax, and I think it works kind of nicely. So I haven't dyed any crochet blanks before. I decided to do double crochet because it's a bit faster for me, and because of the way that the stitches twist, I thought that it could be really cool when you dye it. So I think that you will get a different feel to the final yarn depending on if you do double crochet, single crochet, half double crochet, because of just the way that the yarns twist and loop around each other. But also the type of yarn you get in the end depends on how you dye it. And so there's so many possibilities that it's just really, really exciting. So one thing that's kind of fun about these commercial sock blanks that I've done, and I mean homemade ones as well, is that if you dip dye with it, when you start unraveling it, the color is not 100% solid. The color has some subtle variation based on, the way that the stitches are. Because with a knit stitch, some of the yarn is more accessible to the solution and some of it is kind of held against itself in the stitch. So you get either sometimes a paler color or even a white, depending on your dyeing technique. So you get these gorgeous, gorgeous yarns that have this dimension and kind of like tones and stuff to it. Come on, comments. Yeah, so I did the double crochet just because I thought it would be cool, but it depends on what you want. Yeah, hey, excuses for bulk purchases are great. But yes, I plan to do a video when I do. I'm going to do a live stream. I don't know if I do it tomorrow. I have to figure out in the schedule when I'm going to do a live stream to talk a little bit more about like an official, like, hey, live stream, let's chat about the dye-along versus just like chatting about it in other videos. I plan to show a bunch of the blanks that I've made and stuff as well. And so, yeah, and so I can talk more about how those are made. And then, you know, if you guys want a crochet video, I would be happy to make one. I think that it's just, you know, crochet a rectangle is basically the gist of it. Yeah, with the, oh, you know, Maria, I don't remember. Probably. And so I've shown some of the pictures on Instagram, and I think I'll do an unraveling of these soon, because I think I want to just show the finished yarns in the video versus just the blanks. So I need to figure that out. And as always, if I miss a question, feel free to ask again, because sometimes I miss things as they flash on the screen. I'm on my phone again, because that way I can, it was a simpler setup, and this one was more impromptu. Treble crochet, yeah. What time is it right now? Right now, it's probably around noonish Eastern time. I'm in Massachusetts, so I'm in the Eastern time zone. Yeah. Yeah, but once I come up with the schedule, I will post a blog post on the KnitPicks website, and then there is an event page on Facebook as well for like posting stuff. Oh, it's 12:35. I don't have a clock right here. Thank you, Marie. It's 12:35 p.m. right now, Eastern time. And yeah, so then, because I already have a post that's about like different places where you can purchase sock blanks, and there are some Canada suppliers, at least one Canada source in there, Canadian source in there as well. And it also has some suggestions for tools to use for the techniques I'm gonna do. And so there's like, it's like a very general post. Are you gonna do the same? So I'm gonna do a variety of different times. I plan to do one in the morning. So around noon, like this is like my normal live stream time, because either if the kids are home, then they're napping, or if they're at school, it's just a good time for me to have gotten everything ready to go to take care of it. But I plan to do at least one live stream midday for me, like around this time. At least one starting in the morning, so starting at like 9 a.m. or so. And then at least one dyeing live stream. I'll probably do a couple evening live streams, but at least one will be dyeing based in an evening, maybe around like 8 Eastern time or so. So that way, to try to give, which I know 8 is still pretty early. 8 Eastern time is still pretty early for people over in California. So I don't know if but I can't really push it that much later, because I don't go to bed that late. But I want to try to do a range of times, so that way, like, to try to make a dyeing one that's maybe a little easier for people to join in. But then, of course, the replays will all be up. And there are also going to be some pre-filmed episodes that will be coming out during that week. So, and I haven't decided exactly, but I think I'll probably have a thread on the Facebook page, so that way, you know, I'm sure we'll be talking about this so there's a Facebook group for KnitPicks fans called KnitPicks Lab. I call it my little lab group. Well, not little, I just call it my lab group. And so I thought that name fit it very nicely. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of threads in there about what the dyeing projects people are doing during the dye-along. But I'll probably also, on just the KnitPicks Facebook page, have, you know, a thread going so people can post pictures of their projects, you know, like share your pictures type thread, so everyone can comment. And yeah, I think it'll be I'm really excited, because I get really inspired by what you guys create and show me. And so then that just, you know, or questions that you ask just inspire more videos, and it just kind of keeps going and going and going and going. But yeah, I really enjoy these sort of like casual unboxing and chats, because I think that, you know, we share a lot of like good ideas and stuff. But I do want to do, and so it might be a little repetitive with some of the stuff I've said today, but I do plan to do it sometime early this week, a live stream focusing on the sock blank special die-along. So that way, you know, people can kind of find information in a video in one place without like going through all the live streams I've done lately. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. It was really, even if it was the reasons for placing my first Nitpicks order of the year were kind of sad. I mean, I like getting the orders because I like opening up the orders, so that was not sad. And I like getting to hang out with all of you. So I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your days to come and hang out as I chat about, you know, the stuff that I've ordered and things that are going on. And yeah, if you want, so think about, you know, oh, and I know people are going to use reclaimed sweaters to dye because those would make great sock blanks. Really, like, you know, make your own, buy some. West Coasters like me are just going to have to wake up early. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing me with that. But yeah, my Nitpicks affiliate link is in the item description. So if you're going to pick some stuff up for the Chemnitz die-along, if you're going to shop there, then I get some credit. So that's always good. But there's no obligation ever to use it. But yeah, I just get like referral credit, and it's good for me. But yeah, I thanks for joining me today, and yeah, I've got to schedule some live streams for this week. Hopefully, my kids were sick all last week. So hopefully they'll be at school tomorrow and then I can get work done again. But I hope you all have a wonderful day and I will chat with you soon. Bye everyone.